All right, welcome back. And in this module, we're going to talk about advertising keyword research. Wait a minute. I thought we already covered keyword research. What's the difference between just regular keyword research and advertising keyword research?
Well, I think there's a few different things. One, when we're looking at keyword research in the listing, we're talking specifically to the algorithm and to the customer. When we're talking about advertising keyword research, I think we have an opportunity to go a little bit broader, but we're also going to be looking at different measures like how expensive a keyword is, also how long tail we can get with a keyword. When it comes to your listing, we're relatively limited on how many keywords that we can shove in there. But when it comes to Amazon advertising, sometimes we can go a lot more broad when it comes to broad match, phrase match, auto campaigns. We have a wider list of what's possible when it comes to advertising keyword research.
All right, let's go ahead and hop into it.
All right, so let's talk about keyword research. Now, if you're using Helium 10, you're probably familiar with why keyword research is important for your listing. You've probably started to dive into what needs to be in your title, what needs to be into your backend keywords, but there's a slight difference in advertising keyword research and just your general keyword research. One of the differences when you're doing keyword research for your listing, you have limitations to how many keywords you can put in. Bradley, top of mind, do you know what the limitations are for how many keywords you can put in your title, for example?
Like it varies by product and category. Some can be as many as 250
Oof.
characters, which I wouldn't suggest is like super, super long. But then there'll be other categories where you can't put in more than like 80 or 100.
That's crazy. 80 to 100 characters. I mean, that's anywhere from 5 really long words to 10 to 15 keywords. Amazon advertising's not like that. You can bid on pretty much anything. You can bid on your competitor's brand name. You can bid on keywords that aren't exactly what your product is. Maybe I'm selling soccer cleats and I want to try to bid on shin guards, something along those lines. Your Amazon keyword research can be a lot more expansive. That being said, you do have to make sure you're bidding on keywords that are relevant to your product, but there's not a lot of risk in going outside of that scope. Amazon will just not show impressions if they don't think your keyword's relevant. This is important to start off with because it kind of lowers the risk of the keyword research. When you're doing keyword research for your title, your backend keywords, your bullet points, it's really, really important because it's going to directly correlate to your organic rank. When you're doing keyword research for Amazon advertising, you can go a lot broader because you are running ads. So Amazon wants to showcase your product to a wider audience, I would say, because it's not as important for the organic ranking aspect. That being said, Amazon advertising does influence the amount of sales you're driving to any one keyword. And the more sales that are driven from a keyword, the more likely you are to rank on that keyword. Now, moving on, it's a little bit difficult for people to grasp how to do keyword research for Amazon advertising. Now, let's use toothpaste for example. If I ask anyone how many different ways are there to say toothpaste, they're probably going to say not that many. There's only 1 to 2 keywords that someone's going to type in order to advertise toothpaste, right? Your customer is going to search for toothpaste, maybe flavor variations of toothpaste. That's how most people think or view Amazon ads. But in reality, there are hundreds of different ways to search and find toothpaste. We have toothpaste, we have mint toothpaste for sensitive teeth, mint whitening toothpaste for sensitive teeth cleaner. There are hundreds of different keywords that you could advertise on that are related to your product. This is incredibly important to understand because there's other variables that are also going to influence your ads with this type of product. So, my searches may be toothpaste, mint toothpaste for sensitive teeth. My search volume is going to be different for each of those terms. Everyone is going to think to type in toothpaste. That's probably what most customers are using. Now, I have hypothetical numbers in here, but it's going to allow you to kind of start to understand why keyword research matters. If you think to bid on toothpaste, so does everyone else, because that's the highest traffic placement. So if you want maximum sales and maximum impressions, you need to bid on toothpaste. The problem with that is it can get expensive fast. Because if you're thinking to bid on toothpaste, so is everyone else. So hypothetically, the bids for toothpaste may be $20. It's really, really expensive because everyone else is thinking to bid on it. because all of your customers are searching for it. So bidding really high and maybe having a CPC, cost per click, of $20 is normal for the big brands. Colgate, Crest, they may be paying that because they know they're going to get maximum visibility. It's similar to running a billboard ad, right? Anyone who types toothpaste, they want their product to be shown. Now, this is where keyword research starts getting important because, again, there's hundreds of different searches a customer can make to find your product. Maybe we look at mint whitening toothpaste for sensitive teeth. The search volume is much, much lower. So we're probably going to get a lot less sales for this keyword, but no one else is thinking to bid on it. So maybe our CPCs are less than $3 now, meaning that it's going to be a lot cheaper for us to win that real estate on the page because the location is not as good. It's getting a lot less search volume. This is the overview of why Amazon advertising keyword research is quite a bit different. We are not limited to the terms that we can bid on. When you're building your listing, you have a certain number of slots that you can fit your top keywords into. On Amazon advertising, we can cast a much wider net. And this is also why it's so important to start considering what is our search volume? What is our bid? Now, we're talking about bid management in a later section, so don't get too overwhelmed about bids and CPCs if you don't understand just yet. But this will help you start to understand the overall concept. What keywords can we target in our ads that are going to drive the most sales for us in a fashion that we can afford? Now, this is a really important screenshot because when people start advertising their product, all they're doing is putting their main image and their listing in front of a ton of eyeballs. So as you can see here, I always recommend when you're doing your keyword research to actually search for some of those keywords on Amazon. Type in your main keyword toothpaste. Take a look at the search results. Does your product stand out on the page? Is your product competitive? As you can see here, if I were to advertise a $50 product on this page, it's probably not going to do very well for me because I'm double the price of everyone else. Or maybe my product is a whole different flavor than all of these products, so it doesn't stand out, or maybe it will stand out because of my flavor variation. It's unique. This is
The toothpaste I get is the one in the middle, by the way.
what one you use?
The middle one that starts with a P, I can't even pronounce it, but that's the I might have been one of those $20-$30 clicks because I had never heard of the
Yep.
brand and I discovered it on Amazon, put it on Subscribe and Save, and I've been literally using it for 3 years. So that $20 click maybe they got from me to present the brand to me, it totally worked because now it's been on every other month Subscribe and Save for like probably 2-3 years.
That is incredibly important. We're actually going to talk about this strategy later on in the advanced modules, but this is why the big brands are willing to lose money on ads. Bradley's used it for 3 years now. It's a $20 product. You buy toothpaste probably 3 times a year. So even though they paid $20 for his click, they are making $90 a year for 3 years. They spent $20 and got $300 in exchange. That's a really good deal. And that's why you want to be at the top of the page at times. Now, knowing that, again, this keyword's so expensive because so many people are searching it. So many people are searching for toothpaste. It's going to be expensive. Everyone else knows to bid on toothpaste. That's the easy keyword to target. That's why we want to start expanding and doing deeper keyword research to find the other terms. Is it Sensodyne? Is it sensitive toothpaste? That's actually the toothpaste that I buy is Sensodyne. So maybe I have an opportunity and a competitive advantage to look at sensitive keywords. And Bradley's going to show you how to do this in specifics of how do you go and deep dive on every single keyword related to sensitive teeth. How do you take Sensodyne and look at all of the keywords related to that product because it's most similar to mine? That's where we can start getting really granular and have a really large opportunity to have a competitive advantage. Now, I like this example because, again, going back to our original question is, how do we stand out on the page? How is our toothpaste different? This is a great comparison to better understand your product. One, identify what's different about your product. Everyone can bid on toothpaste, but maybe you have mint toothpaste. Maybe you have sensitive toothpaste. Maybe you have fluoride-free toothpaste. Figure out the search terms that your customers are using. Everyone wants to bid on the big ones. That's where you're going to get the most sales. toothpaste, lotion, mascara, mouthwash. It's going to be incredibly, incredibly competitive. We want to do our keyword research to find all of those search terms that we mentioned that we have a competitive advantage on, and they're less competitive because not as many people are thinking to bid on them. Now, the next section we're going to talk about really quickly is Bradley and I have talked a lot about how you can target ASINs. So we're going through the full targeting ASINs, similar to how we are targeting keywords. We want to figure out where we have a competitive advantage. So as you've seen on a walkthrough, we're going to completely showcase launching a sponsored product targeting campaign. When we are looking for other competitors to target, other ASINs to target, we want to ask ourselves, is our price better than our competitors? Is our variation better? Maybe we have mint toothpaste and they do not. Do we have better reviews than them? So we're going to take that keyword or ASIN list of everyone we want to target and then refine it. I have a screenshot directly from Ad Console now. If you select category targeting, you have the ability to add these refinements. So for egg trays, for example, Amazon's giving me 800 to 1,300 products that I can target similar to egg trays. This is incredibly powerful. But will I have an advantage targeting all of those? Probably not. So maybe I want to only target competitors that have a higher price than me. Maybe I only want to target competitors that have less star rating than I do. Or only targeting them if they are not Prime eligible, because that's my competitive advantage. I have Prime shipping. This will help you niche down and make your targeting much, much more powerful. Now, why this matters, going back to our toothpaste example, the ad that I have circled in red is a product targeting ad. This one is specifically a sponsored display ad. But as you can see, Colgate is targeting Crest. They have a huge price point advantage. Colgate is targeting a 2-pack that is $20. Colgate has 4-pack for $10. They have a major price point advantage here. So if you, again, put yourself in the shoes of your customer, I'm looking at Crest, I see it's $20. I look below and I see an ad for a product that is $10.65. That is huge incentive to click on the ad. It's a major competitive advantage. This is the perfect example of why we need to do product research as well to make sure our ad is targeting ASINs that we have a competitive advantage over. Now, again, that competitive advantage could be a better variation. Maybe you have a better flavor. Maybe you have a unique competitive advantage where your toothpaste also increases the longevity of your teeth. I don't know if that makes sense. But finding that competitive advantage will give you an edge and make your ad more likely to convert. If you convert better, that typically means you're going to be more profitable, which is incredibly, incredibly important. Now, we talked about the overview of keyword research and product research. Bradley is going to give us some very specific examples of how we walk through Helium 10 to actually find these keywords. How do we find the right combination of search volume, but profitability, and then use those keywords in our ads?
All right. So before I get into just general keyword research about getting your listing ready, why is this important? Why can't you just think about keyword research in the sense of what you're going to target? Well, there's something on Amazon that's called indexing and also ranking. There's a difference between them. For example, in the example we've been talking about toothpaste, if you type in toothpaste in Amazon, you see here it says 1 to 48 of over 10,000 results for toothpaste. This means that there's at least 10,000 listings that are indexed for the word toothpaste. Right? That means they're potentially searchable. They could potentially show up in the search results. That being said, that's not how many are ranking or showing up like in search results. If you scroll down here to the end, there's only 7 pages of search results that are showing up. So all 10,000 of these, I couldn't see it necessarily just from a search of toothpaste. And so that's the difference between indexing and ranking. And when we talk about this, you have to usually be indexed to be able to target a keyword. All right. Now, if you're running auto campaigns, broad campaigns, phrase campaigns, as we've talked about in other modules, yes, Amazon can show you for whatever they want, like words that you don't even have in your listings. Destiny talked about targeting other brand names if you're indexed for it. Now it's actually against Amazon terms of service. So like if I have a toothpaste that put the word Colgate in my listing, which would get me indexed, but Amazon could show me for Colgate related keywords. And if I actually convert, I can now go ahead and target that keyword. But though, if you want to start targeting a specific keywords and also make sure you're just generally visible, you have to build your listing with the right keywords from day one. And that is going to fuel your advertising. And it also fuels your relevancy. Like just because you target a keyword, if I have toothpaste, I can't target the keyword collagen peptides if it's not in my listing, and think that I'm going to get visibility on it, because Amazon's like, we're not going to show this toothpaste product to somebody searching collagen peptides. It has nothing to do with that. But let's say I had collagen peptides based toothpaste, which I don't think is a thing. Maybe I just thought of a new product there. Now, theoretically, if I explain that well in my listing, Amazon is going to relate me. And so then, yeah, somebody who does search collagen peptides based whatever, now all of a sudden I am indexed for that keyword. I can actually send targeting to it.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this section of modules. You're now ready to do keyword research, customer intelligence kind of a research. We talked about listing optimization, and we just went over in this module advertising keyword research. Again, as we've mentioned before, this is just a kind of like a cursory level of deep dive into this. Not very deep, like a shallow dive, I guess you could say.
No diving on the shallow.
No diving. There's always a sign that says that you can't do that. So if you guys want to do a deeper dive, you want to go to that 10-foot level of side of the pool, make sure to watch the different kinds of tutorials that we have inside of Helium 10 tools like Cerebro and Listing Builder, and you'll dive a little bit deeper into some of these topics. The next group of modules is going to be about what?
So the next group is kind of taking a step back and looking at overall campaign structure. We're talking about organization best practices. So many people are going to launch more than one campaign in their lifetime, ideally.
I hope so.
Many people have more than one product. So when it comes to things like how many keywords do you put in a campaign? How do you name your campaigns? What do ad groups need? We're going to zoom out and we're going to cover just general best practices for all of those guidelines.
We'll see you in the next group of modules.